You know what quietly kills most traders? It's not bad setups, it's the mistakes they keep repeating without even realizing. Edgewonk and Tradersync both promise to fix that by helping you see what you've been missing. But which one actually delivers? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which tool fits your trading style, and which one could be wasting your time. Now, before using these platforms myself, I dug through hundreds of reviews, and whenever I'm testing a new platform, I always start with the one-star reviews. It's not because I expect disaster, but because that's usually where the deal breakers live. If something's gonna blow up my workflow, it'll show up there first. And yep, I found one Edgewonk review where a user said he wanted to cancel his subscription within the 14-day period, but got no reply after several messages, and still hadn't received a refund. That sucks. Nobody wants to feel ignored, especially after making a purchase. But to be fair, I've never run into that myself during testing, not even close, and I had to really dig to find more reviews with a similar tone. It felt like a one-off situation, maybe a support slip-up, maybe something got caught in spam. Whatever it was, it definitely wasn't the norm. And if it ever came down to it, I doubt it'd be hard to resolve through maybe a quick chargeback, but honestly, I don't think it'd even come to that. And when I zoomed out, the bigger picture became clear. Edgewonk's holding a strong 4.5 out of 5 stars overall. That's not by accident. One trader highlighted that it was the best trading journal he'd ever used. He especially loved the chartbook feature. It let him go back and analyze his setups visually, filter through his trades, and start spotting patterns that he wasn't even aware he repeated. Another trader explained how he bailed on TradesViz after an upgrade made everything too clunky there. When he switched to Edgewonk, it was a completely different story. Cleaner interface, intuitive layout, and meaningful reporting. Within 24 hours, he had all of his accounts loaded and everything up and running, something he said TradesViz couldn't get done in an entire month. That kind of turnaround made me pay more attention. On the other hand, though, Tradersync Trading Journal isn't just sitting in the shadows either. It's got a 4.8 out of 5 stars, which is really impressive. There's clearly a lot of love for that platform too. But not every Tradersync review is glowing. One user had this to say about Tradersync: "Team is top, software flop. Always problems with the sync." And honestly, that's a pretty harsh summary, especially since syncing trades is one of the core reasons you'd use a platform like Tradersync in the first place. If that doesn't work smoothly, it kind of defeats the purpose, right? But another user had a completely different experience. He compared it to Tradersync alternatives like TraderView and ended up choosing Tradersync without hesitation. What stood out for him wasn't just the pricing. It was the layout, the deeper-than-it-looks dashboard, and all the features baked into the platform. He said the AI assistant and analysis tools helped him become genuinely excited to dive in. So yeah, Tradersync isn't a bad option, especially if you care about a slick interface, mobile access, and a more beginner-friendly dashboard. But for someone who's more obsessed with deep data, long-term patterns, and real behavioral feedback, Edgewonk just gives you more room to grow. So what actually separates these two? This is where things got real, where Edgewonk and Tradersync stopped looking like just journals and started feeling like completely different strategies. Because when you get past all of the marketing buzz and the clean dashboards, what matters is how the tool actually helps you trade better. And for me, Edgewonk started checking boxes in places I didn't even realize I was falling short. One of the first features I dove into was the portfolio feature. And wow, this completely changed the way I analyze performance across platforms. Instead of juggling between multiple accounts, between broker statements, or flipping tabs for each strategy, Edgewonk just puts it all together, all the accounts. It just gave me a bird's eye view of how each account is performing, not just trade by trade, but by overall strategy and position sizing. I could instantly spot which setups were actually contributing to my growth and which ones were just burning capital. Now, to be fair, Tradersync does have its own version of overview reporting, but it felt more surface level to me. The dashboard is beautiful, no doubt, but Edgewonk's portfolio view just goes deeper. especially if you've got multiple accounts or want to treat each strategy like its own business unit. Edgewonk gives you the structure to do that. That's not something I felt Tradersync was really built for. Then there's the automated analysis. This might be the most underrated part of the entire Edgewonk experience. I didn't realize how much I was guessing about my performance until the software started pointing out trends that I hadn't even noticed, like certain days of the week where I consistently underperformed, or how I kept stretching stop losses on specific types of setups. It wasn't just stats, it was insight, actionable stuff. One of my favorite tools, though, is something Edgewonk calls the Milestone Challenge. This isn't just goal-setting fluff. You actually create milestones tied to specific behaviors, like cutting losing trades at X% or taking profits at a defined level. And Edgewonk tracks whether you're sticking to it. That kind of accountability changed the way I approached discipline. I could literally see whether I was following my own trading rules or slipping back into bad habits. Now, Tradersync does step up here with its evaluator feature. It's solid, helping you score your trades and reflect on execution. But it felt more like a gradebook to me, while Edgewonk felt more like a personal trainer. If you're someone who thrives on structured behavioral tracking, you'll know exactly what I mean here. Also, I've got to say, Tradersync shines when it comes to backtesting and market replay. That's something Edgewonk doesn't really focus on. If you're the kind of trader who wants to simulate past markets and experiment with what-if scenarios, Tradersync's market replay feature is gold. I get why a lot of price action traders love that tool. It lets you refine your strategy in a low-risk way. Alright, now let's be real. No platform is perfect, not even Edgewonk. If there's one thing I'd flag, it's that Edgewonk doesn't exactly hold your hand when you first sign in. It's not complicated, but there's a slight learning curve. You've got to spend a few minutes understanding how everything connects together, but by day 2, I found my rhythm, and honestly, that structure became one of the platform's biggest strengths once I leaned into it. Now, on Tradersync's side, my only issue, if I'm nitpicking, is that sometimes it feels too simple, too easy. Everything is laid out and automated. For someone who wants fast feedback without diving deep into the numbers, that's a dream setup. But for me, I wanted something to challenge my assumptions, not just present them in pretty graphs. So while Tradersync nails speed and user-friendliness, it kind of lacks the depth that Edgewonk brings to the table, at least in the way that I use trading journals. So what does it cost to journal with these trade journaling powerhouses? Edgewonk and Tradersync's approach, they have different pricing. They do it completely different. So Edgewonk hits you with the one-time yearly fee, which honestly feels like a steal once you see how deep its analytics go. No monthly renewals, just pay once a year and it's yours. For serious traders building long-term, that's a no-brainer. Tradersync, however, is subscription-based, and while the entry-level plan won't break the bank, costs can stack up if you're tracking multiple accounts or want some premium features. That said, for active traders who live in their journal daily, the automation really justifies the recurring cost. Make sure to check the links below for the current pricing, promos, and discounts on both platforms. We'll keep those updated so you don't miss out. So, Edgewonk versus Tradersync. Which one is best? My take is simple. If you want surgical grade trade analysis that forces you to improve, Edgewonk's your weapon. But if you'd rather automate the busy work and focus on execution, Tradersync delivers. Whichever you choose, grab our exclusive discounts in the description below for your next trade.